Hey there folks, Mark Johnson, Learn, Grow, Deploy. I'm really excited for you and myself to go down this learning journey. And to be honest, I've had a lot of experience taking these exams over the past 3 years plus, actually even back further than that. But today I want to talk about the professional cloud security engineer. Now the reason I'm focusing on security is because it's always going to be an integral part in any IT firm you work at, any application you work on. And the purpose of this is I'm actually going through the sample questions on the Google site, and I'm going to show you exactly what each response means in depth, and I'm going to show you why these answers are right or why they're wrong. Let's jump in.
Okay, so let's jump into these possible answers. First, let's break down this question a little bit more. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the question is, or the problem rather, is the developers are using their personal consumer Gmail accounts to set up and manage their projects within GCP. A security engineer identifies this practice as a concern. And because of the lack of centralized project management and access to data being stored in these accounts, what solutions should be used to resolve this concern? So the first option we have here is you can simply enforce the setup of security keys as the two-step verification for those Gmail accounts. So let me show you how you can enforce a security key. So I'm going to log right in here to the Google Cloud Identity / Workspace Admin Console. And let's go in here to security, and then we're going to go to settings. And under here in settings, you're going to see an option down here where it says two-step verification. Once we come in here, let's say I'll go and come into this sub-org and I'll say allow users to turn it on. I can enforce it. And then I also can come down here and give them a certain period of, the period to do it before they're locked out, or to before it's just overall, just give them some time if you have a new person starting. So this is the way you can enforce it. And then there's some options down here where you see methods. I could do any except verification codes via text and phone call, but then there's the option only security key. And then there's a certain grace period you could do that for as well. And then I could say you can't allow any security codes or anything like that. So that's how you come into the admin console to enforce a security key. It's pretty straightforward. So that's your option for A. That's the answer. B, set up Google Cloud Identity and require developers to use those accounts. Now for B, let's look at Google Cloud Identity real quick. And what it is it's a unified access app and endpoint management. So you can manage identities, you can do all kinds of stuff, control mobile devices, enforce policies, Chrome policies, all that good stuff. And it's the same console we were in just a minute ago. But I want to show you the main difference in between a Google Cloud Identity account and, let's say, your Google Workspace, for instance. So if I come down here to billing and I look at subscriptions here, you're going to see the different types of licenses I have. So I have Cloud Identity and I have some Cloud Identity Premium as well. That gives you some more features. But for all intents and purposes, I want to go to Directory and then Users. And let's look at the account I'm on now. I'm going to click on this account. And if I scroll down here to the bottom, you're going to see the license I have. It's a Cloud Identity Free. And that's the one that's assigned to everybody in this domain. And the bottom line is that this Cloud Identity account allows me to have an identity within Google, and I can control access to any Google service with Cloud Identity. So it's pretty cool as far as your single sign-on and things like that. You can control access to it if you have that identity created in here. So with that being said, if we set Cloud Identity up and we make our users or developers to use these accounts for their work, that's how you would do it. And that's your option here for B. C, require the developers to store their Gmail passwords with the security team. Now, this practice here, let's look at best practices. And so Google has a site up here especially for enterprise organizations. You can find the link here at the top. But if we scroll down here and we look back down at identity and access management, and we're looking at how to manage your Google identities. And as you can see right here, Google Cloud uses these accounts for authentication and management. The main thing here is we recommend using fully managed Google accounts tied to your corporate domain name through cloud identity. So requiring your developers to log and store your Gmail passwords with the security team goes against the best practice. It's also going to be very risky doing that. And it's really nothing much too different than having the users or developers right now continue to basically just use their Gmail accounts, because the bottom line is somebody else would have all their passwords, and that's not going to be following best practice. D, enable logging on all GCP projects to track all developer activities. So if I were to go into the Google Cloud Console, and when we come into the console here, okay, great. So we're in here, and let's just say enabling logging is not going to solve this problem at all. It's going to let you see who's doing certain things, but it's not going to let you actually solve this problem. So it's definitely not going to be the right answer. And if you haven't guessed it by now, the right answer is B, when it goes back to setting up the cloud identity and require the developers to use those accounts, because you can lock this down in a way where folks cannot use a Google account, such as a Gmail or any type of account, any type of domain that's not your own domain that you manage. So that's something that you want to be aware of. And as you see now here in the log storage, there's the audit bucket for logs, and there's the default bucket as well. So you have a 400-day and a 30-day, but once again, those aren't going to, the login's already enabled, but it's not going to help you stop developers and users using their Gmail or personal consumer accounts. So that's going to be the answer. And hopefully this helped you learn more about Google Cloud security. Be sure to check out Learn.Grow.Deploy.com. Sign up. More courses is coming. Let's go.